Good
Morning,
morning.
Miss Snuggle.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yes, ma'am.
It has been a busy week. I know it has for you. Have you made it through the basketball season?
Yeah, our season ended last week.
Oh, wonderful. Well,
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
maybe a little lighter load for
Yeah,
you.
yes, ma'am. I can go ahead and do what I need to do and jump on things.
I know. Because you were probably playing 2 games a week, weren't you?
Almost three, because we had games Tuesdays, Thursdays, and
And
Saturdays.
Saturday. Wow, that's
Sometimes Fridays. So sometimes between 3 to 4 games a week.
man, that's a lot of games.
Yes, ma'am.
I guess I was in about the fifth grade.
Mhm.
Pelham had a winning girls and boys basketball teams. And
Yes,
I
ma'am.
remember my parents, we went to every game.
Hmm.
We even went when they went to state.
Uh-huh.
We went to state. And I mean, there was such a following, but they were some powerhouse players
Uh-huh.
back in the
That's
day.
good. That's good.
Yes, and I have fond memories of I mean, it was just a known fact on Friday we were going to that ball game or
Hmm.
I don't remember
Yeah.
going too much like during the week. We might have, but I know it was big time. They was
Yes.
they, they had a big following of fans,
Yes, ma'am.
because everybody loves a winner. So
Right, right, right.
and they were. I mean, they were power, and it was for several years that lasted.
Mhm.
Of course, they have winning seasons now.
Yeah, they do. They do.
But yeah, that's a lot of games.
Yes, ma'am. We made it to the final four, so we
That's unreal.
I know, right?
Wow.
So in a total basketball for me this year was October to March. So that's roughly what, 8 7 8 months.
Yes, that's a long season.
Yes, ma'am.
That's longer than football.
Yeah, it is. It is. And
Much
plus
more.
we're doing middle school also. So you got middle school season. So middle school typically is
Wow.
over around December. Then
Uh-huh.
then let's say probably after Christmas break, full force varsity.
Yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Coaching
But
never
I enjoy
stops.
it. I do enjoy it. It's nothing
Oh
that I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
like.
You
I
have a
love it.
passion for it, I know.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
know you
Yes,
do.
ma'am.
And that's wonderful. That's what they need. But it takes a lot.
Yes,
It takes a
ma'am.
lot to be a coach and a teacher.
Yes, ma'am.
I
Yes,
don't
ma'am.
think people realize, how hard that must be.
Yes, ma'am. That's true.
Because you're balancing your classes you teach. I'm sure you have certain classes you have to teach, and then you've got all that coaching. It's just a massive responsibility.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
tough.
It is. It is.
You
It
have
is.
to. You're probably constantly being bombarded by time management, trying to manage your, day,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
because that gets old. You
Yes,
have to
ma'am.
really
It
stay
does.
at it.
Yes, ma'am.
Looks like our people are coming in.
Okay.
Have y'all already had class this morning? I always ask that. Did y'all have an 8 o'clock class?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, God, that's awful. I have one in the fall, and it always kills me, trying to get there because I have to
Yeah.
drive, to Thomasville, so I have to get up early and
Oh,
get
so
there.
you on campus teaching? Okay.
Yeah, I teach on campus. Well, in the fall, I actually teach. I teach two courses on campus. In the spring, I only teach one, so I only go down there once a week. But this coming year, because things are changing at Thomas University,
Mm-hmm.
I just read this. I really didn't know it, honestly, with our meetings I've had with them, but they are purchasing that old building in Thomasville that was where it was Southwestern State Hospital. It was
Oh
where
yeah.
they had, people that had mental problems or issues. Well, they've purchased a big section of that, and
Mm-hmm.
they're going to put in girls and boys dormitories. There's going to be a huge cafeteria, which TU does not have, but you're going to be able to go in there
That's
anytime
great.
and
That's
and
good.
yes, and get your lunch. I mean, it'll really support the kids that are on campus. And then some of the classrooms will be out there as well.
That's good. That's
Because,
really good.
because
Expanding.
yes, and Thomas University sold the actual campus. I don't know if y'all have ever been on campus, but
I haven't.
the the actual campus has been sold to Archibald Memorial Hospital in Thomasville,
Hmm.
and they have purchased it because they wanted it for a new medical school that's
Hmm.
going to function out of our old buildings. So we're kind of moving our classes over to that new part they bought, and then some of the old areas we will still utilize. But next year when I go, the classes are going to be like on Tuesday and Thursdays. There's not going to be just one class, and it lasts forever, which is
Hmm.
god awful. I hate it. And this way, I'll be able to break down things more. With it, I'll have to go twice a week, but still, it'll be good.
Okay, that's good.
I
That's
don't
good.
know. Where are you located? I always forget. I'm sorry.
Thomasville. I'm here in Thomasville.
Oh, you know. Okay. Well, you're
Yes,
right
ma'am.
there. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, I know y'all are more located centrally around the Southwest Georgia area, more
Yes,
so than
ma'am.
my other class. They're all out of, I mean, Atlanta, you name it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're all over the state. But with this class, usually it's paraprofessionals in the South Georgia area that are trying to get their degrees.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's who this focuses on. But anyway, if you, it's going to be amazing. I think when they fix it, there are. I think they already started working on it, but I think it'll be a great contribution to the college.
Yes, ma'am.
And,
I know exactly what you're talking about also.
I've been there actually myself. I
Hmm.
actually did something when I was in college there for a class, and um, I've always thought that was a wasted building, that they're
Hmm.
not utilizing it. I mean, but they bought it, evidently, from what I read
Yeah.
in the article. Like I
Hmm.
said, I haven't talked with Dr. Lynn about it, but I think I missed a meeting and they probably talked about it then. But
Hmm.
that's just interesting to know,
Yeah, it is. I'm glad it's going to expand.
And, I think the college is in a real good place right now. So that's really comforting.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
so I hope everybody else is doing well this morning. I know y'all have already had one class, so this is the second one. Hopefully, we will get this taken care of. We'll wait a few more minutes. It's not quite, well, I don't know, my phone, it may be. Let me see. Well, it's 10:17, so they should already be here. This morning, we're going to start out by doing you're going to share your video with us. That's the first thing we're going to do. And hey, Sailor, there you are. But
Miss Amelia,
yes, yes.
I'm gonna leave and come back in because I cannot see y'all for some reason.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll let you take care of that. You just go out and come back in. All right. Um, Cheyenne, are you doing okay? I'm sorry I didn't say personally good morning to you.
Oh, you're good. Yes, ma'am. I'm doing good. I'm
Okay,
tired.
great. And Amaya, are you doing well?
Yes, ma'am. I'm doing good. How are
Oh,
you?
wonderful. Wonderful. Glad to see y'all this morning. I know we've had kind of off and on. I know Gracie is not feeling 100%. She has already emailed me. I think she's got the strep throat this morning, so, or something like that. I didn't. She's pretty sick the other night. She ended up in the emergency room, so that's not good. But I hope y'all are staying well. It's almost well, y'all are getting closer to spring break. Do pretty much all of you have a spring break in April?
Yes, the first week in April.
Uh-huh.
Yes, ma'am.
That's usually when Pelham has
Yes,
theirs.
ma'am. The 6th through the 10th, I think.
Uh-huh. Well, I wish you well. I hope you have a great week off. You'll probably have more of a week off than you did when Thomas University had their spring break. Y'all probably weren't off very much then, were you? Maybe you just like
No.
not hearing from your professors. Maybe that was a break. Because I certainly didn't bother you. But anyway, as I was saying before we started, and I know Gracie's here, um, and she'll have her camera on, I'm sure. I've already had an issue this morning with another student about, she wrote me, this is not in this class, it's my other class, but I just thought it was so funny. She said, well, I have to go somewhere. I have to be somewhere at a certain time, so I'm going to drive during class. But she says, I'm going to have my camera off And then, but I can hear you. And I said, well, I hate to tell you this, but that's considered an absence.
Oh
I
man.
said, you can't. I mean, I appreciate that you're trying to keep up with the class and you want to listen to it, but that you still will be counted out. And I don't think the lady understood. But anyway, I got right tickled when she said, well, I'll just have my camera out, off, and I'll be driving down the road, but I'll hear y'all. And I'm like, well, that doesn't cut it. Oh, goodness. But anyway, I'm glad to see all of you. And I feel like we're missing somebody, but this is six. This is us, isn't it? There's only six of you, right?
I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah,
I think it
this
may
is
be
us.
one more person.
Huh.
Is
Maybe
Rachel
this.
in this one?
I think we're missing Allie.
Oh, okay.
Allie. I knew there was somebody I was missing. I'm the one that's okay. Allie hadn't got in yet. She'll be here in a minute. So the first idea here is that you will share out your video you did for the I believe it's what is it called? They all seem to have the same name, but it's where you did your I think a decision on one particular strategy that you wanted to highlight in your video. Wasn't that it? You just did one strategy in your video. We're going to share those out this morning. At this time, what we have done so far, what you have done, is you have completed, and it is chapter 16. Please forgive me. I think it says chapter 12 throughout the whole course. I'm going to have to go back and correct that. But you have gone through the first and second part of chapter 3. Today in class, we're going to do the final part of that chapter. And then the next week, when you come back in, you'll be on your own that week. And there'll be an assignment where you will have to go in and select the 5 top strategies out of chapter 16 that you feel the most beneficial to students, okay? And then you'll narrow it down to 2, and then you'll do one video on, I guess you would call it, your most favorite strategy. Now, a couple of things I want to say this morning. You might say, well, why are we doing this? We've been through this. We've done all these assignments related to this chapter. Well, let me explain something to you. In the end, for the final, you will create a lesson plan around one of these comprehension strategies from chapter 16. It cannot be any other type of comprehension strategy. In other words, you can't go over here and pull this strategy out because you use it in your classroom. No, it has to fall in the line of chapter 16. So by the time we finish this today, you will have gone over all the strategies presented in the chapter. And you should have a better understanding of them, and then you should be able to decide now which one is the one that I would defend the hardest or I feel would benefit my students the most. So that is why we take this chapter apart and we look at all the strategies, because as I told you in the beginning, these are research-based strategies. I believe you understand that now. You see where the research has been done on the strategy and for a particular population of students. And when you are in the classroom, you are kind of like you're like a person that is trying to figure out where the weakness is and what the student needs to bring the weakness up. That's really what you do in a reading classroom. You do it for reading and math. You do the same thing all the time. I'm sure you've all heard that data drives instruction. It does. And the data is where the information is on how your students are doing and what your students need to do. And so these strategies are some of the best. They're the very best of the best. And there's more scientific information here stating why they're good, which really ties into when you're doing RTI and you have to have a research-based strategy. And the reason why they want a research-based strategy, it just makes good common sense because it is stating to you it works. If you do this for the particular students it's outlined for and you follow this particular strategy, your students should improve according to the data, according to what has been researched. So that's kind of why we've taken this approach. We've dissected this chapter. I'm sure that you're sick of going to this chapter, but that's why we do this, because this is tied to the final, okay? And so at this time, I'm going to ask each of you to share out this video you did. And I believe it was on where you had just one strategy that you talked about. Isn't that right? Am I correct? It was just one. Okay. So whoever is ready to share out, and you're going to share out your screen or your video with us. Yeah, it's called the video strategy defense. And this is a short video in which you defend one strategy from your cluster that you worked on. So I'll let you
100%.
ready? We
I
ready to
was
go
trying to,
first?
I will, yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Right,
I was
right.
just trying to find the share screen button. That's
Okay.
that's the only thing I was
It's
looking
okay.
for.
It's usually at the bottom. Mine is at the bottom. I don't know.
Okay.
Uh-oh. I'm trying to share out. Hold on. Let me mark that. Okay. And I am taping this, and I didn't. Okay. Let me move that. I am taping this or recording this right now, and I will make this available to everyone, so that they can see this if you need to go back for any reason. I did not share out the last lesson we had or class we had. I have it, but I didn't share it out. But no one asked about it, so I didn't figure it was that necessary.
Then, okay, let me see if I can share screen.
Sure.
All right, let me go back to
There you go. And this is nice. All you do is have to hit play.
Yes.
Now, I will say this. If you didn't click those buttons on the side, we might not be able to hear it.
What buttons?
It's in the share box, and it'll have over to the probably the right side. It'll have
Audio. Also
yes,
share audio.
yes,
Okay.
yes. Click all that, and it should share out fine.
Let's try it again.
That's all right. Y'all know this is all. Okay, we can't hear it.
I don't know why. It's playing on my side.
I don't know why we can't hear it. Can y'all hear it? Could you hear it? I couldn't hear it.
Okay.
So when you share out, there should be, it says, share out sound, optimize for viewing, sharing, and share. I click all three of them.
My thing only pops up also share system audio. That's all it pops up when I hit the share screen.
I have no idea why it's doing that. Well, I'll tell you what.
I will troubleshoot and someone else go.
Okay, that's right. Someone else share out. Let's see if we can make this work now. Somebody else share out if you don't mind.
I'll share.
Okay.
Graphic organizers, and I first want to start off by saying I 100% support graphic organizers. Working with middle grade 6, 7, and 8, I see graphic organizers being used all the time, and not only in just ELA and reading class, I see graphic organizers being used in science classes, social studies, and even math classes. So for a brief moment, I want to discuss with you all what the National Reading Panel concluded. So basically, the National Reading Panel concluded that graphic organizers help students better summarize the information and better organize the information. And I really agree with that research information, because without a graphic organizer, how could students really summarize the information, or how could they keep the information organized?
Did it work? I mean, I heard it. I could hear it.
Um,
Okay, keep going. Why it's got that in there? I don't know why.
students who struggle with reading, English learners, and students who have certain disabilities, they really benefit from graphic organizers and would use those graphic organizers the most because once again, they're getting the benefit of having their information organized and also being able to create a summary. Graphic organizers are both remedial and also are preventative. Um, why do graphic organizers support struggling readers? Graphic organizers support struggling readers because graphic organizers can help them identify the main idea. It can help them find supporting details and write the supporting details, and can also help them retain information that they have read in a text. Graphic organizers overall just really benefit children. Students who use graphic organizers, I feel like personally you can see a difference in their grade versus students who don't really use graphic organizers, because if you think about it, a graphic organizer basically is just a visual support guide. It's giving students a boost, it's helping them. They're being better able to retain the information. They're being able to create summaries, even putting things in their own words. And overall, that's what we want students to do. We want students to be able to memorize stuff, even if it's using their own words. And using a graphic organizer is a great way. What would this look like inside the classroom? So I work in a resource classroom, and all the time I see my mentor use graphic organizers. And for example, when we read novels and we want to summarize the main idea, she'll turn on the smart board, she'll have the graphic organizer pulled up, and basically it's like a guided reading. So she'll do a little bit of reading, and then she'll write down basically a central point or a main idea from the novel. And as she's writing it down, students will follow along, and they'll have a graphic organizer on their desk as well. So in the next column, she'll pull some supporting details to support that main idea. And she may do like 2 examples on the board, and then the students have to at least finish the class with four main ideas, 3 to 4 main ideas, and 3 to 4 supporting facts and details that support those main ideas. And that basically just gives students, her doing it on the board basically just gives students a guide, and it basically is small group instruction, and it really benefits students. I see students really take the time out and try to learn, how to use a graphic organizer, and I see them engaged, and that's also a very important thing, and it really helps students learning.
Excellent. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get my picture off here. Thank you so much. That was excellent. Okay, and I'm gonna, there you go. Hey, I'm gonna make sure this is unclicked. Hang on, it was excellent. Thank you. Let me do this for just a minute. Hold on, guys. I need to, no. Okay, I'm not sharing out. Y'all are. Okay, now somebody else go. And it is very true. We all know that we see it all probably more than any other type of comprehension strategy is those graphic organizers. We see teachers using that constantly. All right, number 2. Who would like to go?
I'll go, but Miss Amelia, I did not.
Do what?
I haven't videoed myself yet.
Oh,
I haven't
okay.
videoed. I don't have a video of myself doing it. I just filled out the sheet. Is that okay?
Okay, you can
To
go ahead
present
and
like that right
you
now?
can go ahead and present it, and then do you have, let's see, when was it due?
Oh, I thought it was due. I thought it was due after class.
It's due at 10:30, so you're going to be late with that submission. But go ahead and present out what you know, and then you can do your video later.
Oh, I haven't turned any of those in, and I thought it was.
Okay, you got to check your due
Okay, well, that
date
was good then.
time.
Okay.
Okay, you got to check your
Yes,
time because
ma'am.
this was due before class, 10:30. Well, actually, I let you come to class, but it had to be due by 10:30.
I don't know what. I don't know what happened there with me. I'm so sorry,
Okay, well, just go ahead and present out what
but
you
I
know,
did do it.
what your defense was.
I understand. Okay. Okay. My strategy was the KWL, and I'm defending this strategy because it demonstrates activating prior knowledge and setting a purpose for reading, significantly improving students' comprehension. So the research claims that it improves students' literal and inferential comprehension. When students identify what they already know and what they want to learn, they interact with the text more actively and retain more information. So it benefits struggling readers and mixed ability classrooms because it structures the thinking process during reading. And students who often struggle with comprehension can gain a more clear framework for connecting the prior knowledge to the new information. In the classroom, it would look something like the teacher creating a KWL chart, and the students would brainstorm or tell the teacher and brainstorm things that they already know about a topic, and the teacher would write it down in the K column, and then they would brainstorm and generate questions that they have and want to learn about this topic, and then the teacher would write it down in the W column. And then after reading the text, the students will tell out loud like what they learned from this, and they can connect it to what they knew before to what they know now, and then also they can answer the questions that they had before. They can be answered now from what they've learned from the text also. So that's, do I need to add something else?
Okay, that's good. All right, good deal. And we see that a lot in the classes. We use that especially in our lower level classes with K1 and 2. That KWL chart is used a lot, and it's because it helps them, really understand what they're doing, what they're trying, what they already know, what they want to know, and so it's a good comprehension strategy. Very good, especially after they've read text, so it works well. All right, now Gracie's not going to present out because she has an extension due to her excuse. So Gracie, you don't have to present out. I know you're not feeling well. Bless your heart for being here. Amaya, could you go next?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good deal. I don't know why it has my picture.
I was assigned peer assisting learning strategies, questionings the author, and categorizing questionings shows that these strategies help improve students' reading comprehension by encouraging active engagement with text. Studies found that when students discuss ideas in peers, questions the author's message, and organize different types of questions, they develop a deeper understanding of what they are reading. These strategies also increase student engagement because learners are actively thinking, discussing, and explaining their ideas rather than just listening to instruction. These students who benefit the most from the strategies include general education students, struggling readers, English learners, and mixed ability groups. Struggling readers benefit because peer support and guided questionings help them process the text more clearly. English learners also benefit from opportunity to talk about the text and hear how their classmates think through ideas. Mixed ability groups allows stronger readers to model thinking strategies that support their peers. These strategies can be considered both prevention and remedial. They are preventive because they teach students how to actively engage with text and develop comprehension strategies before difficulties occur. They are also remedial because they both provide additional support for students who already struggle with understanding of what they have read. In terms of MTSS or RTI, these strategies mostly align with Tier 1 and Tier 2 instruction. They can be used in Tier 1 as a part of regular whole group reading instruction to support all learners. They can also be used in Tier 2 by providing more structured guidance and targeted support for students who need extra help with comprehension. Yes, these strategies would support struggling students. Structure peer discussions, guided questions, and organizing different types of questions help struggling readers slow down their thinking and better understanding the meaning of the text. In a real classroom, this might look like students working in pairs or in small groups during a reading lesson. The teacher would model how to question the author and think about the meaning of the text. Students will take turns reading sections and discussing questions together. They might categorize questions as literal or deep thinking questions and explain their reasoning to their peers. The teacher would circulate around the classroom, listen to discussions, and provide support when needed to help students develop stronger comprehension skills.
Okay, that was excellent.
Hello, everyone.
You can just come down to the green button, I think. You can just come down to the green. There you go. Okay. Am I sharing now, or are you sharing? I can't figure it out. There you go. Okay. Great job. You nailed it. I mean, that was excellent. You went through every point. I love those peer, I believe it's called what? It's peer assisted. It's a peer something in it. What's the name of that again? Peer what?
Peer assistant learning
Yes.
strategy.
Okay, I think that is a really, really good strategy, guys, especially for your 3 through 5 grades or upper grades, because what you're doing is you're taking that material that they're reading and they are breaking it down together in small groups with each other. They're discussing what they're reading, and I feel like that there is more opportunity there for those that maybe can't get it or don't understand it. They have a chance to talk to somebody who does. And who is their best teacher a lot of times?
They're
Who?
friends.
They're friends. You know, I can't tell you how many numbers of times in my class or in my lifetime I've looked at a friend and said, what did she say? I don't understand what she said. And they explain it to you. Have you had that moment? Of course you have, if you're human. And so, yes, peer assisted strategies to me is one of those that really rank high. It could be easily done with some modeling and some instruction from you as the teacher. You could teach those students how to do that, and it would be very effective, I think, in your classroom. I'm so glad you highlighted that. It was great. Good job. All right. So, Cheyenne, I think you're the last one.
We'll try it again.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right. There.
Well, I have no idea why we can't hear you. You did such
I don't
a
know
beautiful
either.
job.
I wonder if hang on, because I have it on my phone too. I might just hold the phone up to
Okay.
the screen.
Okay.
Did it stop sharing?
It did.
Okay.
But you're not trying to share from your phone, are you?
No, but I'm trying to share from my computer because it's
Yeah.
downloaded on there. I
Yeah.
submitted it last night, but I just don't know why.
I don't either. I don't either. You know what? Technology's great until you have to
They don't
use it.
like me today. It's okay.
will be defending literacy.
You might just have to hear it.
I hear it. I hear it.
This is a reading comprehension strategy where students work together in small groups to better understand a text. Instead of reading and responding questions independently the entire time, students collaborate by discussing ideas, asking questions, and explaining their thinking to one another. Research discussed in Chapter 12 basically brought out that cooperative learning improves comprehension because students are able to process information through discussion with their peers. Researchers such as Johnson & Johnson and Robert Slavon found that structured cooperative learning environments increase student engagement and support stronger comprehension outcomes. The population that benefits most from cooperative learning includes mixed ability classrooms and struggling readers. In these settings, stronger readers can model effective thinking and comprehension strategies, while struggling readers gain to support through peer discussion and clarification. This collaborative environment helps students feel more comfortable. The strategy aligns with both Tier 1 and Tier 2 instructions. For Tier 1 classrooms, cooperative learning can be used as a whole class instruction strategy where students participate in small groups. Tier 2 instruction, the strategy can be used in smaller groups of students who need additional support. Cooperative learning can function as both preventative and remedial strategy. For preventative, because it becomes where students can develop comprehension skills early by encouraging active engagement with text. Then it comes to remedial because it provides struggling readers with additional help from their peers and teachers. In the real classroom setting, this learning might be looked as the children are working in small groups with assigned roles, such as summarizer, questioner, or discussion leader. Students read the passage, they ask questions together. But the only limitation we have here is that cooperative learning is one that must be carefully structured. Without a clear expectations and assigned roles, some students may dominate the conversation while others may participate less. Overall, cooperative learning is an effective literacy strategy because it encourages collaboration, deeper thinking, active engagement with text. Research shows that when students discuss and explain their ideas with their peers, their reading and comprehension understandings tend to improve. Hello, my name is Shine Wheeler, and today I will be
Excellent. Very good. And she also iterated what we just said. When they have a chance to talk about it with somebody, their peers, their group, I just think it means more. That's why I'm such a proponent of putting you in small groups when you come into my class, because I think you gain more than just sitting through lecture. So great job by everybody, and it sounds like to me you've all got a good handle on the strategies we've covered so far. So today we're going to take a look at the last part of the chapter. And what's exciting about this is that I think we can do this whole thing in class today and you'll be one and done. So that's encouraging. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen first, and I'm going to share. That is not what I wanted to share. I'm going to stop the share just a minute. It jumped over there before I had a chance to share out where I wanted to share. Okay, here we go. This is the course module. At this time, I have opened up the ones that were closed that you couldn't see. And so it starts about where it says class happenings. And I'm trying to get over there if I can get my cursor to move. Where is it at? There it is. Okay. So I'm going to click on class happenings right now. We're going to talk about what we're about to do. Okay, here we go. So the happenings is today, it is a basically a decision-making activity is going to happen today. And the actual list of 7 strategies that are from chapter 16 at the end of the chapter that we're going to do today are the following. And you see them on the screen there. There's the QAR. There's question generation and request. There's story structure and story mapping. There's summarization. There is RAP, phrasing, paraphrasing, and reciprocal teaching, visualization, and mental imagery. So the idea here is that you would be placed in a breakout room. However, I'm really leaning just doing this whole group, and I'll tell you why. We did it whole group in my face-to-face class, and it worked really well. But and I'm thinking I'm going to do that today. But anyway, you're going to have to make some decisions on your own. You're going to have to say, well, which strategy worked best, what comprehension skill is weak, and whether the strategy would fit in a tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3 instruction. All right, now I'm going to share the next page. All right, so the first thing we need to look at is in choosing the right comprehension strategy. And effective teachers do not randomly choose strategies. They are usually very pinpointing in that they are going to meet the student's needs. They match the strategy to the comprehension skill the student needs to strengthen, and we understand that. And so the following are some issues that students could have. And then this slide also shows you what particular comprehension strategies in the last part of this chapter would help the student. For instance, for understanding questions and inference, these are students that struggle with answering comprehension questions. They just don't get it. So this strategy here would be most effective. It's the question-answer relationships. It strengthens the understanding types of questions. It's locating evidence in the text, and it's inferential thinking. Those are the things that it improves if you use this strategy. All right, so we're going to pull down. And the next one is called active reading and questioning. These are for students who read passively and do not monitor understanding. They will say things like, I read it, and yet they can't tell you anything that they have read. So with that's not good. So what are you going to use? Well, you can use question generation or request because it's active engagement with the text. It makes them more responsible in what they're reading. It has student questioning and comprehension monitoring. We've already been over that strategy earlier. The next one is called narrative structure. These students struggle with retelling a story or organizing their stories when they even write or when they even just try to tell you what they've read about. So here you need to focus on story structure and story mapping. And if you did, it would strengthen the understanding of the characters, the identification of the problems and solutions, and the organized retelling. All right, moving on. The next area is main idea and key information. How many times have you said, what is the main idea? And they look at you like, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, they can't remember the details, and they also miss the main point. So the best technique there would be summarization. It strengthens and identifies important ideas, distinguishes details from main ideas, and synthesizes the information. It really focuses on that, summarization. The next one is retaining information while reading. Students read quickly, but they forget what they read. After they've read, they don't know, they can't answer questions. Here, you need to use RAP, which is read, ask, put it in your own words. And anytime you are putting something in your own words after reading it, you're going to understand it better. And so it strengthens paraphrasing, comprehension monitoring, and memory for information. All right, moving on. And these will be here for you when you actually do this activity. Structured comprehension strategy practice. Wow, that's a big one. Reciprocal teaching. And the students, they need guided practice using multiple strategies. And I found something I wanted to share with you. And I'm going to look for it right quick, like I got it right here in front of me. Somewhere in this. Oh, what did I do with it? Hang on, guys. I'm going to find this. Oh, yes, here we go. Okay, so when you talk about reciprocal teaching, that is where the students are actively working in a group. It is driven by conversation, and the instructional strategy is designed to boost the reading comprehension by having the students take turns leading the discussions using 4 key strategies: predicting, questioning, clarifying, and summarizing. There it is right there on the screen, as you see. It shifts the responsibility from the teacher to the student. It is often used in small groups in Tier 2 instruction. And if I could say anything else about that, it's basically a conversation between the students and the text. And think of it as a reading workout where students take turns being the leader, breaking down that information together, than just reading it silently alone. So it's got to be more effective than just silent reading. In fact, silent reading we know is just the poorest form of any type of offerings when it comes to comprehension. Building mental images. Students struggle to visualize. I have a student who I work with in another class, and this student has been very honest with me about the comprehension struggles they have faced. And one of the key ingredients is that this student does not visualize when she's reading. Like for me, when I read a book, it's like I'm watching a movie. I can see it happening in front of me. Some people can't do that. What do? Well, you use visualization and mental imagery here, and it strengthens mental imagery, engagement with the text, and informational comprehension. So the final question here is, before doing this, what comprehension weakness does this strategy address? That's what you're going to be asking, because there's going to be scenarios I'm going to present to you, and then you're going to decide which strategy out of these 7 you would use. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is everybody with me? Yes? Are y'all with me? Can you hear me? That is funny.
We can hear you.
Okay. I was wondering if anybody was there. I can't see you right now. I don't have you where I can see you, so hang on.
Oh, we were all giving thumbs up.
Okay. Well, I can't see y'all. I don't know why this thing is not showing y'all's beautiful faces this morning, but I can't see you. Why won't it do that? I don't know what's... All right, let me move on. So the comprehension strategy decision map is the next thing we're going to do. And this is where we're looking at what are the 3 major comprehension systems that teachers choose strategy based on which system needs support. Now let's look at this closely, because this is going to be an aha moment, maybe. Maybe it will. I know it's always good to see this information. The first area, or the first, what I would say, major comprehension system is metacognition. This is while they're monitoring, while they're reading. I do this myself. I'm sure you do. It really depends on what kind of, I would say how strong you are as a reader. Personally, I'm really conscientious of it. Is when students read passively, they do not notice confusion, and they fail to ask questions while reading. So we've all probably read a novel before, and I've been reading, and I'm thinking about my grocery list, or I'm thinking about what I'm going to do when I go to the store, and I realize, okay, I've read this whole page and I don't know what I read. Well, this is what students do with metacognition. If they are able to do that, they are very strong in it. Now, there are certain strategies in this list of 7 that support metacognition, which is question generation and request. The students generate the questions while reading, and it promotes active engagement. You'll also notice with a lot of these strategies, the idea here is that these students are doing what? Cooperative learning. What did the study say? Cheyenne just reported out that it was one of the best ways in the world to teach comprehension. Students need a chance to read it, to kind of get it in their minds, and then discuss it, and not just sit there and not say anything. It really does promote active engagement with text. Of course, reciprocal teaching is very strong. Prediction, question, clarify, summarize, and it is often used, all of these are used in small group instruction. You've got to have small group instruction. You really do, to make it effective, I think, even in the upper grades. Text structure, that is another big area for comprehension. And here it is understanding how the information is organized. This system works well when students struggle. If they struggle with story elements, or they give disorganized retellings and they cannot identify main ideas. There was several in my class the other day that mentioned kids cannot retell stories. And this is an area that needs support, because they don't understand how to retell a story. Well, you have to take it back. Well, are they having problems with the story structure? Do they not understand story elements? Do they not understand story mapping? And there's an excellent story map in that book in chapter 16 where it shows you what it looks like. It would be an excellent visual to use with students in your class that struggle with this. Have them draw it out. Even if maybe they're not good writers, maybe they could draw pictures of what's happening in the story. So summarization is, again, identifying main ideas and then distinguishing the details from the important information. So all this relates back to text structure. And the last section has to do with text, meaning construction. And this is building meaning from text. And when students struggle to understand, struggle to answer comprehension questions, like they'll say, well, I read it, but I don't know what it said, or I don't understand that question. I don't know what it's asking. They cannot connect the ideas in the text to what they've read. They don't understand. And they fail to visualize events. Again, that visualization is very important for students. Strategies that support the meaning construction are the QAR, question-answer relationships, visualization and mental imagery, creating mental images in their mind. Now, I have an excellent idea on this, and we use this in kindergarten for the purpose of comprehension. I will explain that in just a minute. I'm going to finish this up and come back to you so you can see me. And the wrap is read, ask, and put in your own words. It's paraphrasing and retaining information while reading. Now, when you do this, when we work on these scenarios, you can come back to either one of these pages for support. So what comprehension system needs support? And you will ask yourself when you hear this scenario, which one is it? Where is the weakness? All right. So I want to go back and hit for just a minute this idea that I have seen myself work in the classroom, and it's called snapshot. Okay. And you take a paper like this, just a paper like this, and all you do, let's say you read a story, a read aloud to your kids, and you have blocks on your page like this. Can you see that? Okay. And two, you will have 1, 2, 3, like this, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. You have it numbered. And so what I would do is I would do the read aloud, and then we would do snapshot. And this becomes a snapshot of the story. And you go through the story with those students, taking like you would reread like 2 pages and say, okay, let's take a snapshot. What just happened on these 2 pages? Somebody tell me. And somebody raises their hand and they answer the question. And then you say, now draw me a picture in square 1 where you just heard me read about that story and what happened. Draw me a picture of those characters. What were they doing in that first part of that story? And you continue this until you get to the end of the story. So what they do is they have a snapshot of the entire story, and it tells the story to them, but in their pictures. Now, even a kindergartner can do this, and it is very highly effective in making sure they understand all the details of the story. Then you can say, retell me the story, and they can do it. You can use this with any grade level. It's an excellent way to teach visualization. And believe you me, if you don't visualize, does anybody have a problem with visualization? I'm just asking. You do not, I can tell. I mean, you don't. So when you read, you see what's happening in your mind. Does everybody feel that way? When you read something, you actually see it going on? Yes. You probably comprehend well. That is an area where we find a real deficit with students if they don't. So now let's look at the scenarios. I think we'll just stay in whole group, and you want to, let's see, let's move to the next slide. Hold on just a minute. I'm going to move on. I want to bring up the scenarios next. Okay. And I think you'll see what you'll need to do. Now, you will need to make notes along the way. So if you don't have some paper and pen, you do need something to make notes with, because you'll have to drop your answers in a Dropbox when it's over. But the Dropbox is not closed until 11:59. So You can make your notes here, and then you can go back and edit it and change it and do what you want with it, okay? But you do need to have a frame of reference here as to what you're answering, and you're going to answer out loud, okay? So we'll all be on the same page. Now I'm going to go back in and share, and I don't know why it won't let me look at you. I don't like that. Y'all know I don't favor that at all. Okay, so I'm going to go back and share this page with you. Now, can you see that, guys? Yes? Okay, good deal. Let's see. I'm just trying to find out how I can see show video panel. Never had a problem with that before, but today this seems to be. Scenario 1. These are a group of kids, and the name of this scenario is The Answer Wasn't There. Have you ever had a group of students say that to you? Well, this group of third grade students read a short story fluently. And when asked comprehension questions, they often responded, well, the answer wasn't in the passage. However, the answer can be figured out using clues from the text. These students are struggling with inferencing, understanding different types of questions, connecting text clues to the answers. Which strategy would help the most? Now, these are the options to discuss. We're going to discuss them in just a minute. The QAR, the visualization, the summarization, or the story mapping. So, let me stop the share right quick like. What do you think?
I feel like using summarization for the story would have helped them find the answer a little easier, because sometimes children get lost with how many words are on a page. They're kind of tuned out. They look at how huge the passage is and they're like, yep, I'm not reading it. I don't want to read that. I'm not going to listen. But if you summarize that, trying to put the answer within the summary that you're given, they're like, okay, I get it now.
Kind of break it down for them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I agree with Cheyenne.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen this happen have you heard these words? The answer wasn't there.
Yes, quite often. And then I've also hearing a lot lately, the computer clicked this one. I didn't mean to click that one.
Yeah. So definitely, it would definitely have to fall in the line of summarization, although any of those other options would be good too. Now, it says, hint, you might expect them to reach understanding types of questions and inferencing. Yes. All right, very good. All right, that's scenario 1. Now, which of the systems, if we go back, let's go look at the system. Because when you fill this out, we'll look at there it is right there. You will have to answer to which system does this fall into? Which system? Can y'all see those systems? Can you go back on your own page?
I'm trying to go back and look.
I'll try to share it out. Hang on, so you can look at it too. Hold on, just a minute. Let me see. Boom. So hard to share out and keep doing this, but whatever. Okay, so there's the actual sheet in the module there. Let me pull this up a little bit. Yeah, you've got metacognition, which means monitoring thinking while reading, which possibly could be it. And then you've got text structure. And that is understanding how information is organized, and then meaning construction. So which one do you think it falls under?
I think it would fall under meaning.
Construction.
No, I do too. Construction. Meaning. Yes. That's the QAR. It suggested that over there. The visualization, the memory imagery. Yes, all of that falls under that. Very good. Okay.
Yeah, the reason I see it being more so that one than the first one is because it said struggle to answer comprehension questions, and that's basically a comprehension question that they were asking in the first scenario.
You are correct. All right, let's go down to the second scenario. Maybe I can move this without stopping the share. Second scenario. They read, but they forget everything. All right. A group of fourth graders can read paragraphs accurately, but when asked, tell me what you just read, they give very vague responses like, it was about animals. They struggle with identifying important information, distinguishing details from main ideas, remembering information after reading. So, which strategy would help the most? Options to discuss: summarization, RAP, visualization, QAR. And then we're going to stop and we'll go back. And the other thing you need to consider is what tier this would work best in. And then we're going to take a look too at what we think in terms of what comprehension. Hold on just a minute. Let's go back. What comprehension system it would fall under. Okay. And anybody ready to answer?
I'm going to say it's going to fall under visualization because they're not visualizing anything that's happening in the story. They're not paying any attention. They're not picking up certain details from the story. They heard animals, but I doubt they can tell you what animals.
That's right.
So I feel like in order to get them to really listen to it a little bit more, I'm kind of torn between the construction one and also the one above that about the format
Story
of the
mapping. Yes. Because it doesn't that one refer to needing
character setting problem
yes.
yeah.
It could be either or.
I mean,
And
you could
if you
also
knew
tie both of them into it,
yes.
but leaning more towards the text structure. That way, the children understand that when you're reading, you need to kind of like take mental note of these smaller parts in the story. That way, when these questions come up at the end, you can be like, oh, that happened in chapter 1. Let me go back and look at that.
That's right. That's very good thinking. Very good thinking. All right. Anybody
I
else have anything to add? Go ahead.
I think that the students would be tier 2 students
Mm-hmm.
because they
Yep.
struggle with comprehending,
Mm-hmm.
and they can decode but they can't comprehend. They probably would need like small group instruction and guidance.
Yes. Yes. You are
I work
exactly right. Go ahead.
I work with a lot of tier 2 and tier 3 students, and this is what we're doing on a daily, having to break things down like to the smallest T so that they can
That's right.
understand what's
That's right.
happening.
And
So
I
I
will
agree
say
with
this. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said I agree with Renisha on that one.
And also, I want to make this point too. You will find that most of these strategies are geared toward tier 2 and tier 3 people because we know that tier 1 is what the entire, whole school. So we know that at some point, in order to break it down, it's going to be for our tier 2 and tier 3 students. That's just food for thought. All right. And so quickly, we're going to move into strategy. Well, not strategy, but scenario. Let's see. Let's go 2. That was 2. We did that. Very good. Okay. Now, this time, we're not going to let those two ladies, we're not going to let Cheyenne or Renisha answer. We're going to have some other people answer. So this one is scenario 3. It's a narrative text confusion. The students are reading a fiction story, but struggle to explain who the main characters are, what the problem the characters faced, and how the story was resolved. Now, stop. This would really fall in your area of your probably pre-K through 2 narrative text confusion. When they listen to you do a read aloud, a fiction read aloud, they cannot tell you who the main characters were. They don't know what the problem the characters faced. They don't understand how the story was, what the plot, what was resolved. Their retellings jump around and lack organization. And many times your younger students struggle with this. If you, in kindergarten, you have to ask them to retell a story and you'd be amazed what comes out of their mouths. Here, which strategy would help them organize their thinking? You have story structure, story mapping, the QAR, the visualization, the reciprocal teaching. So, what comprehension skill does this strategy strengthen? All right, and I will take it back over to the page, if I can get my cursor to move, where we look at those systems first. Let me see. Let me keep moving. There we go. One more over. There we go. Okay, someone else answered besides our other 2-star students today.
Text structure. Let's see. Well, they don't comprehend.
That's right. And what else? What else did it say they didn't do?
My computer's lagging. It said that they couldn't comprehend, they couldn't retell the story, right?
Mhm.
Like the characters and everything like that.
That's right. So they don't have any. They probably are lacking in what? Story structure, story mapping.
Yes, story mapping.
Yeah. It just says right up there under. It says right up there under text structure gives disorganized retellings. That's what it said they were doing, right?
Yes.
So what are we going to do to fix that?
Well, we can like you said, as far as the when you held up the paper and like
Yes.
how the other grade, you can like reread the first 2 pages or something, and that way tell them. Yes, have them visualize it that way.
Yes.
You can ask
you need some strong ideas for that. Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was saying, like, off of what she said and how you did the paper thing, like, you can immediately ask questions, like, after 1 page also. Like, instead of, like, retelling, you can, like, ask them also to get them involved.
Yes, and that would be a good way to monitor them. As you could look at the picture in the box and say, okay, they really understood this, or no, they did not. You would know very quickly. You would have almost an assessment with that if you did that snapshot, but it's very highly effective. But I see this, and it can be a problem for our upper grades as well. But I do know that when you're reading, a lot of times even in a read aloud situation, you have kids that don't understand what you've read. It's really problematic. All right, so let's move on. Let's see, we've got 11:06, so we've still got some time. And then let's
11:17, not 11:06.
Oh, you've got 11:17. I'm sorry.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
All right. Let's see. Let's see if we can't move on because we're almost done. Let's see. We did 2. We did 3. And now we're going to look at 4. I believe 4.
So for the, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, sorry. For the thing that's we have to turn in tonight, it is literally like what we're talking about and like what we're doing right now, but is it just one, or is it it's just one of them?
I'll tell you in just a minute.
Or is it every single one?
Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. All right, so scenario 4 is passive readers. A group of students, they read silently but rarely ask questions while reading. They tend to read quickly, they move on without thinking, and they fail to notice when they do not understand something. Their teacher wants them to become more active readers who question the text. Which strategy would most help? What do you think? Anybody?
Maybe story mapping to make them slow down and like
focus on what they're reading.
Yeah. And
I would also say question generation. If you ask a lot of different questions compiled into the story, it's going to make them be like, oh, I didn't think of it that way. Let me go back and read that again and find the answer that she's asking for, if they like to question the story and like to figure out more so what's going on. And especially if they read fast. If they're given a list of a lot of questions, they're going to be like, oh, wait, hold up. I got to answer all these. I've got to do this again.
Right. Very true. So which area do you think this affects? Which of these systems would we look at?
Text structure.
Text structure. Understanding how the information is organized. Struggle with story elements. They give disoriented retellings. They cannot identify what? Main ideas. That's right. It's amazing when you really look at that, how it breaks it down. And then for summarization, that would help them identifying the main ideas and distinguishing the details from important information. That's so hard for children to understand because they think everything's important.
But
when they
would
look at
this be a tier 1 because they read it really, really fast?
it. Possibly could. Yes. I mean, there's a lot of kids out there that do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're talking about the massive population there.
Yep.
Very much so. I like that. Good thinking. All right. And the last one, I believe there's one more, is students who need strategy support. A teacher is working with a small intervention group of struggling readers. The teacher wants them to do what? Predict, question, clarify, summarize while reading together. And the students will take turn leading these strategies in the classroom. Well, which strategy fits this instructional approach? It's the one that I talked about.
I thought that'd be the last one,
Reciprocal.
right?
It's reciprocal teaching. That is reciprocal teaching. That's what you do. And so, yes, that would work well in this situation. And it is often used, reciprocal teaching, such as having them predict, guess what will happen based on the clues, question, asking who, what, when, where questions to understand the key details, clarifying, clearing up confusion about hard words or tricky sentences, and summarizing, pinpointing the main ideas in their own words. They do this very vocally and they do this in a small group. And why is this strategy often used in small groups rather than whole group discussions? Why?
Because they're probably doing cooperative learning, so it's tier 2, tier 3, peer learning.
You need this when you do reciprocal teaching like this, but it's an excellent strategy. Now let's look at the Dropbox and see exactly, because I think it's written up differently, but I just want to see.
I think we have to type it as a Word document.
Yes. Okay, so here's the Dropbox. What I'm going to ask you guys to do, since we did it all together, I mean, it's no big deal, go through and answer each of those scenarios, put all 5 in, and you do not have to write me a book. You're just going to write a simple sentence. The selected strategy, name it. If it's QAR, just name it. The identified weakness, go back and look at the scenario and write the sentence that's there. It was story elements, or it was a weakness, they could not tell the story in order, or whatever it was. Comprehension system, go back and look at that page where comprehension system is, plug it in. You do not have to write me a book. You just state what it was. And tier level, where you think it was. And then why do you think this strategy will work for these students? All right. Here is an example for you to look at what it should look like. Very simple. Do you see anything complex about that? No. Should take you no longer than 30 minutes to do it, surely. Since I know you have classes. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry. My computer has been like in and out for the past 10 minutes, but I did not hear what you said at the beginning. Did you say go ahead and do them all since we did them together though?
Yeah. Do all 5 of them, because you're not being asked to write a book here, folks. You're just writing the answer, just like it's in this example here. But what I was going to say is I'll extend this to tomorrow evening at 11:59. So in case if you're in classes the rest of the day, you've got at least tomorrow you can fill this in. It shouldn't take long at all. I thought this was a better way to introduce this part of the chapter to you rather than sitting there and answering questions about it, but applying it to how it would fit into a situation with a student. I hope that you have found this somewhat informative and not only that, easier maybe to understand what the point of all this is, okay? Because these are proven scenarios that happen in the classroom. You've heard them yourself in your own classrooms. So it's not anything new probably to any of you. It is just maybe new, maybe trying to think about what would be best, how could I best serve this student and answer their problem, or find out their weakness and answer their problem, okay? All right. Any last closing thoughts before we close out today? I feel like I did a lot of talking, but I think it was effective, and I think it was better just doing it whole group rather than breaking out, okay? All right. If there's no more questions, I'm going to let you go because I believe it's later than it should be, 11:24. All right. Have a great rest of your day. I'll change the due date on this so it will read tomorrow evening at 11:59.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good
Okay.
job. Feel better, Gracie?